this is going to bring us all to a 0 point. So probably what you're wondering is, what is a 0 point? Well, first let me share with you an example of not being at 0 point. So this weekend, my husband had a huge project. He works on the front lines with a bunch of seniors. So you can imagine that's a really big deal. So if you allow me to tell this story, um, it'll take me about 5 minutes to tell the story, and then we'll do this activation in 5 to 10 minutes. This is what happened this weekend. Just going to be 5 minutes. I want to tell you the story because I want to, first of all, I want you to know that vulnerability, first and foremost, is the access point to being open to the entire universe. So this story is just a little vulnerable story from me. This weekend, my husband had something really intense going on, and he was a leader of a team, and he's never done it before. And not that he's never led a team before, but he's never done the project that he was involved in. He's got a bunch of very leadery kind of people in his posse. And so, for some bizarre reason, I took it upon myself, even though I teach this, so it happens to the best of us. I started, his back was hurting really badly. He's had surgeries, and I started carrying him. I started worrying about him. I started concerning myself with him. I started really noticing that he was in a lot of pain, of course, because he was carrying his team. And I was picking up on him worrying about how the clients were going to feel and what was going to happen with his project. And I saw it affecting his back. And then I was trying to do everything to make him feel better. And I forgot about my own self care this weekend. And normally I'm so good. I go for 2 walks a day. I breathe, I do breath work, and I do a 0 point activation for myself. And what ended up happening is that yesterday was Canadian Thanksgiving. And for Canadian Thanksgiving, of course, I'm in the United States and I can't see my parents because Canada isn't letting in Americans. I'm not American, but my husband can't come with me. And this is the first time I've ever had Thanksgiving without my parents. And not only that, my husband was super busy and his back was in pain, so I didn't have Thanksgiving at all. And I didn't realize how much it was going to affect me, but it did. And it felt really crappy and yucky. And on top of that, I had not been doing my self care practice all weekend. So you can imagine that by the end of yesterday, I was feeling very overwhelmed. And especially for women, it's so crucial that we do what a friend of mine calls emptying our basket. We don't realize that we are constantly scanning and constantly looking for what's off or what might go wrong or what is incongruent. And we manage that, whether we know it or not, all day long in our full presence. And if we don't empty the basket, in other words, if we don't actually transcend that, what happens is uh, a whole bunch can mess up. What ended up happening is I had this great conversation with my husband yesterday, and he was very clear that he too had his basket full and that he hadn't emptied it either. And we remembered a little exercise called 0 pointing. And again, I do this every morning and every night before I go to bed. And I wanted to share it with you because I realized I'd never shared it with anyone. And 0 pointing, what it does is when your basket is full, when your nervous system is full of things seen and unseen, when maybe there are things happening in the world that don't seem to directly impact you, but you feel somehow the anxiety of what's going on around you. When you understand that others around you are having a harder time than you, and maybe you want to take care of them, you're not in a 0 point state. As let me describe to you what it feels like, and then we're going to do the exercise. What it feels like is a state of having the world outside of you, that you, in fact, are free and clear, and almost as though the world is living below the clouds, and you're actually living in the sun. It feels as though if you needed an answer, the answer is there. It feels as though you are a living metaphor for the world at large, and the greatest thing you can do for humanity is not to carry it, but in fact, to be the one that lights the candle that is the way back to a state of neutrality for all. So, in other words, not only do you not feel selfish, you feel as though you are lighting the way for the rest. You are activating a possibility for the rest of humanity by being fully responsible for your vibration, for how you feel, because people can feel it. There's a scientific reason for that and otherwise. So, shall we? Are you guys up for it? So, hello over there, and let's do this 0 point activation. I'm going to show you what a 0 point looks like. Okay, and then we're going to do it. And this is what it looks like. What it looks like in a 0 point is heaven and earth, and this is the timeline of past to future, right? And so what we're doing is we're descending heaven to earth while we're in a timeline, putting the present into the past, and then dreaming and being inspired by our future. And the 0 point is actually just the now. And the now is where all possibility exists. So if you're up for living your life in the 0 point, where all possibility exists, and nothing is upsetting, and nothing splinters you, and nothing takes you off your ever powerful reason for being alive, then this is for you, okay? In these times of great change. Here we go. Everybody breathe. Everybody breathe. And as you breathe, allow yourself to imagine the oxygen coming into your lungs, but also allow yourself to imagine that not only is oxygen coming into your lungs and being spread throughout your body, cleansing your body of all of that which is not necessary, not helpful, but that there are 75 trillion cells breathing in at the same time. So take your consciousness behind your eyes and take yourself into those 75 trillion cells. And as you feel those 75 trillion beautiful, gorgeous cells breathing in and out with your lungs, they're breathing in the photon packages of light that feed your soul with the deeper truths that allow you to stay out of the polarity in the world, because there is only the descendants of heaven to this earth. As you move along the timeline or the trajectory of the truth of who you are, expanding into your fullest and most fulfilling self-expression, as you expand into your piece of the puzzle of heaven on earth. And as those two lines cross, the bringing heaven down to earth and the blossoming forward of a human life in this time-space reality, where the point of those two cross is this beautiful now. And there is nothing other than pure possibility in this powerful now. In this powerful now, the instant you can bring your cells to the photons that are feeding your soul with all that you need, based on that trajectory you're on, and heaven ascending onto earth, what's going on around you becomes irrelevant. As it becomes mentally irrelevant, imagine that the attention to that now has all of those pullings and callings and societally egoic ideologies and polarities disappear. It's almost like you drop a love bomb on your now, and it pushes away anything that doesn't pertain to the action, to the peace of mind, to the clarity that is presenting, that would have the most impact with the least effort to make the greatest contribution you can right now. And then now, and then now, and then now. And that there is nothing more than that. And as you see all of the pullings and the polarities and the righteousnesses actually fade into the distance, as if you're in an amphitheater where the crowd gets further and further away, as if the seats could go so far away that they almost look like they're on the horizon. And you're in this oasis of pure positive energy. As you do that, not only does the peanut gallery of things that want your attention go away, everything that's in the highest for you, that's been waiting for you to receive, comes into focus. As it goes away, the things that have been calling your heart come into focus. Allow yourself to see them. Allow yourself to take them in. Allow yourself to know them. And so it is. What do your cells feel? What do your cells know? What can you see that's different from this place? Now spend some moments breathing this in, breathing the power of this 0 point where nothing else exists. Spend some time breathing that in. Allow yourself spaciousness to receive. The world is far away. All there is right now is the clouds below you, the sun above you, the world far outside of you, your greatest wisdom available. And as we all sit, as you sit with that, let all of it reveal with spaciousness. Let it blossom into your view with divine patience. Let it beautifully unfold its clarity. Let it titillate and excite. Let it become so clear that it's inevitable. Let yourself take actions that are inspired by this moment right now. Again, and so it is. Breathe yourself back into your presence, just 3 breaths. 1 breath for the gratitude for this body that can experience 0 pointing your presence. 1 breath for the gratitude for soul family from around the world that's doing the same with you. And 1 breath for this life and for oxygen itself and for photon packages of light and the fact that most of you is greater wisdom. Just the deep gratitude and the blessing for that. Now, all there is to do is go forth and multiply, right?